Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Endless Celts Podcast. And I don't know what you all said, but intro always gets me pumping and just sitting bang bang, throwing shadow punches for no reason. But I'm joined by William and Ross. How are you both?
Hi, good mate. Glad,
Hard to say,
glad to be on after a big one again.
100%. Glad to say, Monty's in straight off the bat. I hope Ross isn't talking piss tonight again.
I knew he was going to come in right away. Didn't he disappoint me?
Alistair Jack, evening boys. Craig White, the legend. Taylor's this year for Alison. We're going to talk about him at length tonight. Craig White, legend, so be aware of that. And Jed's in early as well, evening all. So thanks for joining us. Where we're going to start, obviously, is the review of the Super Six. I hope you've all reminded yourselves to get these scores in and predictions, because by the looks of it, there is a few people who are lurching behind. So we'll crack in. Number one, yet again, is Francis, our very own. I don't know how he's doing it, because he knows fuck all about football, but it's magic.
To be fair, I'm in another league that Franny's in, and he won it last year. He's no bad at the old guesswork.
It's because he's never off his fucking phone. The rest just forget to do it.
He must sit and study it all week. I just put numbers in.
Getting the expected goal ratio and all. Expected off the far out and in predictions.
Right, Steve, the real reason you're winning.
I'm gonna get to it. Trust me. Up 3 places from last week is Sean Ross at 22 points. Up 1 place, the third is Stephen Colford at 20 points.
Sounds like top of the pops, doesn't it?
Alistair Jack at 5th place at 19 points.
Alistair Jack
Stephen Wright
up 2 places.
Stephen Wright sitting at 6th at 17 points. And I'm not going to obviously go through all 21 because there is a lot of people. So that's the top 6
there. 21,
it's Francis, Sean, Stephen Colford, Mark McGuire, and Alistair Jack occupying the first 5 places, and then Stephen Wright at a close 6th behind. But everyone else obviously has time to catch up, and I would encourage everyone to get involved. It's great crack. We're always just going to review it and have a bit of a laugh. Francis is not kind of having the one horse race here. He's only 4 points ahead of Sean Ross, but he's pulling up, so we'll have to catch him. That's the main objective. And the winner of the second round of the season was myself. I know, lads, I forgot to do it first week, and look what happens when I do it. I win. That's what happens. But everyone, get
applause for wee boys.
Everyone get involved. Look, the Super Sixes are the league code. Download the app. It's sitting there. It goes along the ticker as well. Get involved. Ross created it's great crack. But the reason why we're all here is to speak about that magnificent performance that Celtic put in against Kilmarnock away on that terrible pitch. William, on the carpet, me and McGrander rightly christened it because it looked absolutely shocking. But according to Derek McInnes, it wasn't down to Celtic's talent that won the game. But as we always do, a brief summary. How was it for yourself?
Rampant as usual. 5 goals, 5 different scorers again. Goals spread across the team. It's not just one individual we're focusing on. In the sunshine, top of the league. Keep on charging on. I'm just loving it. Blown away by the team. It's like he talks about you never stop. They don't ever stop. And you don't think the football can get any better, and it just does. It just keeps getting better and better. Some of the goals were just unreal.
Incredible. I think it dispels that myth for us, doesn't it? We can't play on an artificial surface. I mean, we totally took Kilmarnock to town at their own patch, and me and McGrander were watching it, and we were like, they don't need the money, but they can't fill their stadium capacity. You could have rightly added to the atmosphere again with 2 sides of that ground occupied by Celtic supporters, but that's their own loss. But how did you feel the game went overall?
Perfect. Well, pretty as good, as close to perfect as can be. Monty's on it. He's coming on one of these Fridays, by the way, and I'm swapping with somebody to be on if I'm known. It's going down.
Just a shut off. Just put it
off. He's talking with the cock out, definitely. The game as near as perfect can be. We won 5-0 at I was going to say a notoriously difficult ground. There hasn't been in the recent past, but love you too, Monty. It hasn't been in the recent past, but I think it stems from the sort of Tommy Burns kind of era. We always struggled then. I think it's just maybe some younger folk, but some of the older guys round about my sort of age, remember the days, and it was always difficult when you went there. And then now you're playing on a plastic pitch, it doesn't help. But Ange just comes right off the bat. Doesn't matter about the conditions. We'll play our football. There's no excuses. And we didn't use any excuses, and we went and played our football. At times, the pitch did play a part. Ange alluded to it himself, but on the main, we passed them off the park. We played some great football. There was individual performances. Again, there was the collective. Great day at the office.
I think Postecoglou said it well in his post-match interview. He was saying about he doesn't want teams to just come win 1-0 and go away happy with a tight victory. He wants us to score goals, William, and be more effective at the top end of the pitch. And that's something that we've kind of took and we've kind of ran with, especially at the start of the season and all through pre-season as well. But we'll go to the first goal. Maeda and Kyogo linking up with a fantastic defence splitting pass from Taylor to Maeda. A wee bang into the box. Kyogo finishes. Great play by all them three combined, wasn't it?
Brilliant. And it couldn't have went any better because I feel like Maeda and Taylor have been getting a bit of stick, even though we're only 2 games into the season, about we should be playing others or Abada, and Taylor's not good enough. So the way the first goal came about, I was like absolutely over the moon to see it. And Kyogo's movement as usual. For a small guy, he's always hitting that front post. He's always getting in a position. So if these guys are getting the ball in the box, he's always got a chance. Superb goal, great start, early goal. And like I said it on Friday, I think it's really important for us. If we get the first goal, I think that's it, that we just hit 6th gear and it's like, right, let's keep going. The longer we go without getting a goal, people start to, like Ross County people start to get a bit nervy when it was 1 each, and so here we go. And we shouldn't need to, because we're flying. Like there's goals in this team from everywhere, like we said. But as soon as we get an early goal, it's like, oh, you just think this could be 6 or 7. And I think it just gives the team a wee bit of confidence, and that first goal was a great start.
Yeah, I think as well, like you look at it, Ross, in terms of as you mentioned, the pitch did play a part in some areas of the play and some aspects in terms of passing, but it's quite frightening that we're cutting open teams who are quite rightly sitting back in their own pads and trying to defend and trying to keep it nil each for as long as they can. But we're making it look easy because, as you said, yes, Kilmarnock's not a difficult away venue, but our struggles on plastic pitches have been there to see. I mean, Livy, point in case there, do you know what I mean? Especially the Tony Macaroni, but struggled there recently. But in terms of the first goal, Taylor, fantastic individual play by himself to set that up. I mean, the ball was fantastic. When you see it in that slow motion type, incredible. And I sound like I'm on the Taylor bandwagon. I don't know, lads. I just realised that.
It's nice to see.
Even for Kyogo as well, I mean, they get on the score sheet. That's his 2nd goal of the season, isn't it? So he's already built himself up for a great season. Made it with an assist. It all kind of ties in well, doesn't it?
Aye, it was like you have both alluded to, it was a great goal. I think Taylor picks it up. He does a wee pirouette, and he plays a ball that Cal McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, any of the guys, Turnbull, would all be proud of. It was a great ball, straight into Maeda's path. He didn't even need to break stride. And then the square ball, once again, Kyogo doesn't need to break stride. They're all like just perfectly in sync, and it was a great goal. And I don't even think, and I know it's early in the season, so you would probably expect that, but we've went to Rugby Park yesterday, and I personally don't think we got out of second gear, 3rd gear maybe, and we took them apart 5-0. And you'll get games where we'll go to other away grounds and it'll maybe take us a wee bit longer to score, but I'm always confident we're going to score, because you start to worry if you're watching your team and they're no making chances and it's 0-0, but Celtic constantly are making chances. They're tearing teams apart. The defence can't live with whatever front three we decide to play. At the moment, that's Maeda, it's Jota, and it's Kyogo. At other times, we'll swap it about, and it'll still work. We're tearing teams to shreds, and the only team that I think personally worry me are Rangers. And when I say worry, I mean the only team that you would say can possibly get close to us when we're at full tilt. And even then, I would still be confident playing them. I think we're in for one hell of a ride of a season, and it could be, like everybody told us, that it could be the second season could be even better than last season, and if it is, wow, somebody keep me away for the pints.
It's like that journalist we had on, Dan Orlowitz, in one of our Sunday Lives. He said the exact same thing. It's like the second season, once that kicks in, it's incredible to watch in terms of football. And Charles Smith, William here, with another great point. Miss hit for second, miss hit third, fell on a fourth, toe poke for the fifth, ball bounced off on that side of BBC. Seen it? That's actually a cracker for Betty for right now, I think. But we'll go to the second goal here. And Felipe Yada. Oh, absolutely incredible. I'm going to throw two kind of things at you here, right? In terms of raw talent and what we got him for, have you seen a player that kind of lives up to him at the minute in terms of what he's delivering on the pitch playing for Celtic? I know you can obviously point to the likes of maybe Scott Sinclair when he first came in. He was electric and all them types of players. But for me, he's making this look easy at the early part of the season, like, isn't he?
Definitely. I totally agree. I think he could actually end up going on, because I think he will go into bigger and better things at some point. He could possibly go on to break that transfer record. Is it Tierney that stands at the now 25 million?
25.
Possibly go on to break that. If he went on a long-term contract, and if he keeps going the way he's going, he looks unplayable at the moment. And agreed, mate. Right. Agreed, Stephen, mate. And I loved Faddy in the Sky Sports. Did you see him, mate?
Loved it.
He's like, I seen you last week, and he's the best player in the country by an absolute mile. So I don't know what you're slaving of it.
I don't even think Boyd believes what he's saying sometimes.
Nah, he can't. He's
just at the wind up, man.
Aye, I think he needs to stay on side with the fans, doesn't he?
So, of course, aye.
Jota, another thunderbolt. It's just see the fluidity that we've got and the way we're playing. He's just popping up everywhere. The same with like Taylor. I thought thoroughly deserved his man of the match.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he covered every blade of grass. There was points in the game where like he got it on the edge of the area on the right hand side or something, and I was like, is that Greg Taylor? What's he doing there? Because he was everywhere. But Jota is creating everything. That wee bit of flair. There's one point in the corner where he took it in a couple of step overs and drops the shoulder and beats the guy. And we always talk about the Celtic way is with wingers, and the Celtic ways to get the ball to the wingers and flair and playing that sort of football, the attractive football, and that's exactly what he's done. And for us to get him for the money we got him for is an absolute snitch in this day and age. And just to touch on as well, what Ross was saying about how we're electric and we're talent teams, and Jed said it as well, and he said I think we'll take 7 or 8 off a team this year, and I totally agree. I think at the mid to tail end of Lennon's last tenure, people were coming to Parkhead, nobody was afraid anymore. They were like coming thinking they could take something off us. I think teams are now coming against us home and away and thinking, if we get out of this 2-0, I'll be happy. The fear's back. Everybody's absolutely petrified of this, and so they should be, because the football is unbelievable. Yeah,
the fear should have been there all the time, but again, as you rightly said, that kind of fell away due to other parts and things we obviously won't discuss now, because that's back in the past and focus on the future, Ross. And I think Jed came in with a great point there, just to round it off to Greg Taylor as well. Jada was very complimentary about him in that kind of duo press conference type thing he did when he got the Player of the Match award. So again, it shows you the players, while some supporters, including myself, may underappreciate Taylor and what he does, Jada and players like that are noticing him, and Jada's flourishing in that style as well.
Aye, and I think for me that sort of alluded to the fact that I think the players are well aware of the criticism for certain quarters of the fans towards Taylor, and I think Jota was just trying to push home that message, like that we all know what he does for this team. He might not do the flair. Even Taylor said it himself, I'm not going to be the guy that bangs one in for 40 yards like this man, but I know what I can do, and like, he knows what qualities he's got, and he's doing, I said it in the last pod, he's doing everything and more that the manager's asking him right now, and I just want everybody to get behind him and support him, and just like accept that he is a decent player, and for the moment he is our left back, and he's probably one of the best players on form.
Our only left back right at the moment.
Well, I will. We'll not go down that road. No pun intended.
Oh no!
By the way, see just to touch on that wee interview, that was the best thing I've seen in God knows how long for me.
Loved it.
It just showed the camaraderie between the players, the togetherness, and I think, see, to be fair, I know like Ross is saying that they're obviously all aware of the criticism. To be fair, I don't think Greg Taylor gives a fuck. I think he's got quite a big, broad shoulders, and he'll take it on the chest and take it on the chin and say, well, "Listen, I'll show you." In fact, it maybe propels him on to actually do what he's doing now, and just to see the team and see him say that, and I think him saying that'll put a lot of doubters on side as well. All the Jota fans will be like hanging on his every word too. I just think it's magic. It's just a magic time to be a fan now, and I'm like, me and probably Ross as well are more happy than anybody that Greg Taylor's providing the goods in there, because we've been getting pelters for about 6 months for back.
He's also got great teeth, Greg Taylor. Absolutely top notch.
Great head of hair as well.
We're going down all different albums here, Nick.
See, when Jota was talking about him, and it looked like it wasn't tearing up. But he put his hand on his back as if to say, like,
aye,
"Cheers, mate. I really appreciate that, man." And I was just like, nearly tearing up myself, saying, "Fucking, I'd love to be in the middle of that sandwich."
I think it was Danielle that spoke about in a comment there about the togetherness of the team. You can see it, and I think it epitomised the sort of togetherness when Starfelt scored. And he ran away. He was absolutely delighted, but you could see that everybody else was delighted for him. And one of the first players he got to was Anthony Ralston. No kicked the ball hardly this season for us. Straight over to him. Do you know what I mean? Ralston could be on the touchline a bit pissed off or whatever, but he's no. He's just there. The whole team is there together, and we're all in it together, and it's brilliant.
It's about the culture Ange has created and always told us about, and it's coming into effect. And you can definitely see it. I mean, the Starfelt celebration was fantastic. The way Postecoglou just held his hands out and was smiling, and then all the players did on his social media post, they're all piling on it as well. It's just great to see. And I mean, quick fire to use both. You can be as broad as you want, or just brief. It doesn't really matter. But come to you, Ross, first. Is Jota the best player in the league at the minute?
Best player in the league at the minute?
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think that can be disputed. If you're going to dispute that, it's because you're of the other persuasion. I think we've got some of the best players in the league, but right now on form, Jota's he's the best to watch. He's got all the best qualities. He's banging. I know his goal was absolutely top drawer. He banged it in for the best part of 40 yards. You could say the keeper probably should save it because it's no right in the corner, but the power he generates and hits the target, he's asking the question. He wouldn't have done that last season, or if he did do it, it was going flying over the bar most of the time. He's just took his game to another level. I don't know how you do that over the course of a summer when you've flew all around the world and played fives with a couple of guys, but he's came back, and I don't know if it's because he's settled and he knows he's got to be here, but he's came back even better. If he was a dangerous animal last season, he's a completely different animal this season, and he is the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, and he doesn't forget his roots, William. He had that tribute to the Portuguese legends who sadly passed away, and he also alluded to the fact that he believed in him in his early age. And you look at his form, it's 3 assists and 2 goals and 3 games into the season. I think that's pretty good, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Couldn't wish for a better start. And he seems a very humble lad as well. His interview, honestly, his interview touched me more than what his performances have done as a person. That's what Ange always talks about. But on the pitch, he's by far and away the best player in the league at this moment in time. I think I said at the start of the season when we were predicting player of the years and stuff. I think I said Matt O'Reilly, but if it was tomorrow, Jota would win it by 25 furlongs because he's heads and shoulders above anybody.
That's a fair point,
Brian. That's true. I was thinking it's maybe the boy who played 5-a-sides with in New York that gave him a few tips on how to strike the ball. Because Ross is right. Like last season, how many times did he cut in for that left-hand side and balloon it into Rose Ed?
Playing off the right now, though, eh?
That's what it is.
Smashing ones into the tap C.
It's not even that. he drifts across the pitch. Do you know what I mean? He just takes up positions. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I said on Friday. I think we had a bit in the comments as well on last Monday's pod where it was like, I think he's better on the left. And I was like, I personally don't think it really matters, because with the fluidity and the movement, that they're switching all the time. He's picking up wee pockets of space in the pitch, and both these goals haven't been scored for either the right or the left. He's been picking up that wee number 10 in the middle, so he's just got a free role as of most, and we just look. I did see that, mate. And by the way, he fucking is a prick.
Yep.
He's a horrible
bastard. By the way, sorry, Wally.
No, on you go, mate. On you go. I was pretty much finished. Just got to say Jota's unreal.
No, I was just going to touch on his goal. I don't know if you noticed as well. I'm sure it was Jota. I'm pretty sure it was Jota that puts the ball sort of up in the air, loops up, and he's in his own half, and it sort of kind of breaks down. I can't remember exactly what happened, but then Maeda gets it under control and he plays it inside, and it's Jota that's came for his own half to pick it up. He's obviously seen the space and then just went, I'm having this. Bang.
I thought Maeda was brilliant as well, by the way. He's another one that I think is like Taylor. A lot of the stuff he does is so under the radar. He works his absolute socks off for the team. He's not like a Jota. He'll take it in 4 step overs and ping it in the top bag and he gets all the plaudits. But Jota wouldn't be able to do that work if he wasn't doing what he was doing, or Taylor wasn't doing what he was doing, and vice versa, and all the rest of them. And Calmack wasn't doing what he was doing. I just
think the unit.
It's the collective. And I think Maeda as well, like I know people probably don't like me banging on about this, but he fits Ange Postecoglou's style. He doesn't have the flash, he doesn't have the skills, that's fair enough, but he has the work rate, passion, closing down, pressing. I mean, I've seen his stats on Twitter. It was incredible the amount of running he done, the turnovers he won in possession, and 83% pass success rate, incredible. Assist for a goal. He's only going to get better. So, I mean, this is his first full season in Scottish football. Like Kyo Lassie, but he was injured part of it. And then you've got Hatate, who's come back from injury, and Ideguchi, who I hope gets a chance as well. But we'll move on, Ross.
Sorry, mate. I think that's why he doesn't want that midfield enforcer, because that's all these guys do that. Maeda does that for the front.
Fair point.
They don't need that, and that's what allows these guys, Jotas and all that, to do what they do. Like Makalele wasn't most unbelievably talented, but he was there in that Chelsea midfield to allow Lampard and all them to do what they needed to do. I don't think he necessarily needs that midfield enforcer, because the whole team does that.
As soon as we look at where Greg Taylor wins the ball at times.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's incredible. And as you said, maybe the whole midfield and enforcer type thing isn't what we need. But again, if you look at it from the naked eye, sometimes you're thinking it could happen. But you rightly said there, a great point. The collective of the team's doing that anyway. Maeda, Taylor, Juranovic, Ralston, whoever it may be, are pressing from the front and the back, so to speak. But we'll move on to the other goal. The man who you seem to have taken a liking to, Ross, in recent weeks, and that's Jens. The big fella. He eased that game. He had Lafferty in his back pocket. I seen one of them funny pictures on Twitter when he empties his pockets, the keys come out, the wallet comes out, and Lafferty comes out in one of them ones. And then he scored a fantastic improvised goal. He took it well. The technique was excellent for a big centre back, like flipping himself over. Although the keeper they had was a bit shambles, to be honest, but still, all in all, great finish. And Jens, he's just getting better. And maybe what you said, if you'll say it again, may come to fruition.
I'm quite happy to say it again. I think that he will oust Starfelt. I think he's just got it purely because I was worried because I didn't know if he was going to be out for X amount of games, but Ange just said that it was just precautionary sort of thing. So I think you'll probably find that he'll be in the team again for the next game. I think he just looks like a proper player. I think it's going to be difficult for Starfelt to get that jersey back, purely because I think he's a better footballer than Starfelt. I think he's technically a better footballer than CCV, and CCV is good on the ball. But I just really, really, I know it's only a few games, I'm getting carried away, but I really, really like the guy. I really like
just get carried away.
I think you didn't get any more suited to Angie's style as a centre half than Moritz Jens, and he's a threat in the box. He's played no even 2 full matches. He's got 2 goals. He's a top player, and I think already, like last season, it'll be coming soon that we'll all be on this pod going, oh, we have to sign him up. We have to sign him up here.
Yeah.
Or do you think he'll go back to whatever? It's coming. And he's the man. He is for me. He's quality. And I'm sure, again, it was Danielle's been talking a wee bit of sense in the comments tonight. I'm sure she said something about Starfelt and no Starfelt, CCV and him handled Lafferty brilliant. Totally agree. I was thinking that myself. They don't. He tried to put his stamp on it, throw a couple of elbows about, be physical.
Monty's you thought that nice was Muir Pelters there,
I
did. He stopped. He was like, what's he saying?
As soon as I see the name there, I'm like, oh no.
I thought you made a good point at the weekend, Ross, in the group chat, because when he did go off, Starfelt came on, and the first thing he did was get himself in a bit of tangle. I think it was Big Lafferty got himself in a bit of tangle, and he looked a bit panicked in the ball, and you were like, Jens has strolled these last two games, and Starfelt comes in and just looks a wee bit panicky already. That wouldn't be Jens.
And I did. I mean, to be fair to Starfelt, it was early, but that one action said to me, Jens is a better player. He's the better option. But again, if Starfelt comes in, which I expect him to do it at times, he'll do the job. He came on and done the job on Saturday, albeit the game was done when he did come on, but then he got his goal, which says to you that he's up for the challenge to try and get the jersey, if you like. It just pushes everybody on having this competition.
You seen like when the season started, we had Welsh. He played most of pre-season, obviously due to Starfelt being injured and Julian looking out the door, which seems to be ever more closer at the minute. But you look at it, William. I seen a comment. I can't remember who said it. So if you're in the comments still, please say it again. That they think Jens is better than Ayer was for us in this early stage. Obviously, it's all. I thought what Ayer was brilliant, mate. I love
Ayer was one of the most overrated centre halves we've ever had at Celtic.
Take a walk. Go back in that.
Telling you, man. Massively overrated.
But in terms of the impact Jens has made so far, instead of being rudely interrupted by Ross, how do you think he's done?
Oh, he's been superb. He's came in and looked like somebody said again. I don't know who. I can't remember who it was. Said he looks like he's been here for. I think it was Gio Patrick actually said he looks like he's already been in the door for 2 seasons or so. He's been that settled and he's just so comfortable in the ball. And his goal on Sunday was unbelievable. If Messi did that, in fact, Messi scored one a couple of weeks ago, and everybody was going on about it, and it was nowhere near as good as Jens's. I think I seen a stat somewhere as well. That's him equaled Ryan Kent's goal record for the whole of last season, and he's a centre half and played 2 games. I like Big Ayer, by the way. I thought he was good, but for me, he was a number 6, and they put him in that central defensive role, and I think he did well for us. But
I'm not saying he was shite. I'm just saying he was overrated.
That's fair enough.
This is interesting, William. What do you think about this? Jens looks and plays more like Van Dijk than that.
That was my very next point. And there's I'm not saying that he's anywhere near the level of Van Dijk because he's not. But the way he just strolls about, a bit like Federer on the tennis court, floats about, and he just looks very comfortable. But there's nothing. It's not like for me, Starfelt. Sometimes he gets a ball, it looks like everything's tense, and it's just where can I get it off? Where can I get it off? It's a bit panicky. Jens like
black currant.
Jens is almost playing walking football when he's that comfortable and that and it's just like that can only spread without the team. And so for me right now at this moment in time, that's got to be your back two pair, Jens and CCV.
It's interesting, isn't it? But I think like Starfelt and
by the way, you still not got that fucking fire alarm sorted.
Leave the fire alarm alone.
Leave the fucking battery.
It works well with the show. It adds to the concept. Everyone loves the beeping. They're playing games when it's going to happen. It's fantastic.
I can't believe that's been like a fortnight. How is that not driving you insane?
And actually, to be honest, that helps me get to sleep. I don't know why. That's it. I like hearing.
Steve thinks he's got a budget. He goes a bit with the birdseed trying to feed it.
Him and Tony.
Fucking
the budgies. The budgie crew.
Polly want a cracker.
Just get used to on the same pod and just listen to the budgies in the background.
Leave it alone. Now you're making me hear it more and more. I wasn't even hearing it there, but now I am. Thanks for that one. But here, I think it's interesting, Ross. Like you look at, I mean, I'm obviously not going to spend the whole podcast talking about it because we'll be here for ages because they played really well together. But I mean, it's not discarding Starfelt in terms of a player, and the qualities he has. And I mean, in that their teammates, I don't know if you've seen it. It was between O'Reilly and Jens. Funny enough, and they said Starfelt is one of the quickest players at the club, so he has a bit about him. Do you know what I mean?
It's
so
rapid.
But it can't be that easy just to kind of put him on the bench, surely. Like, you have to give him another chance again to see if he can prove himself.
I totally understand what you're saying, but it's similar in a sense, and I know it's no the same in terms of longevity that they've played together. But when Julian came back, people were saying the same about him. You have to give him a chance to prove himself. But we were all saying you can't split up that partnership, which seems to be working well. Again, it's not the same longevity, but the Jens and CCV partnership is working so good now. And I just think you look at the way Jens brings the ball out of defence. I think he's the go-to now to do that. He doesn't. When you were watching the two centre halves last year, there was a lot of this for a wee bit, passing side to side, and then CCV would bring it out a bit, play it wide. Now we're seeing Jens picking up the ball, maybe getting it to CCV, but then he goes like that, straight, goes through the middle of the park, then finds a pass, maybe takes a man out before finding that pass. Whereas it was always a bit. We won the league, do you know what I mean? But it always felt a bit obvious, a bit overplayed at the back sometimes last season, without pressure on the ball.
There's no slight on Starfelt. Starfelt's still a good player, but that's football. You get injured, you lose your spot in the team. This guy's performed well, so you need to perform well in training and get your spot back. And that's why we're doing so well, because we've got in every position several players that are all fighting to get that spot in the 11, and everybody's playing at the top of their trade because of that. So it's up to Starfelt now to show in training, and I'm sure he will get a chance again. And like, injuries happen, and he is a top player. He was like, I was doubting him at the start of last season. I felt there was a mistake in there. But he definitely came on the tail end of the season, and he'll definitely play a massive part this season. There's no way they two will play the whole season together, and we'll need them more so than ever now with the Champions League games coming up, and he'll definitely play a big part. But I definitely no slant on Starfelt. It's not a matter of like you sit on the bench now. It's he'll still play. He'll still play a vital part of the team, like 100%.
I just think some. Sorry, Steve.
I think Postecoglou alluded to the fact. I mean, you're making a great point there. Rotation is going to be a big player this season, and the whole 5 sub rule as well, and it's going to come into effect. And you'll probably see Starfelt or Jens come on in later parts of the games and stuff like that, and kind of get Starfelt especially match fit again and ready for the Champions League and Cup domestic competition. So it is fairly important that way. But what we will say, Ross, before we move on from this one?
I was just going to say, like, I think with Starfelt as well, sometimes, and I know he's alluded to his pace there, but sometimes he found his cell out of position. He had to use his pace to get back in. Whereas what I've seen of Jens, I think he's similar to CCV when he always seems to be in the right position. He's got pace himself, and Starfelt gives a lot of free kicks away in dangerous areas just by being a bit too eager or trying to get himself back into position. Maybe
I agree.
Not a desperate lunge, but Jens just looks calm alongside CCV. Your two centre halves just calm, never look flustered. That's what you want.
And the whole rotation thing you're talking about. I mean, if that was Starfelt that went down last year, with how Jens did, and like Jens, they said they took him off as a precaution. The only reason they took him off as a precaution is because they had Starfelt there.
Aye.
If that was last year and it was Starfelt, right, you're playing on, mate. So the fact that we've got him coming in a place, it's just fantastic for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that squad depth we're all craving, and we've all got at the minute at Celtic Football Club. But while we move on from this, I do want to make the viewers aware. I know William announced it on the last show, the last Friday podcast. We're starting a brand new thing at the Endless Celts Podcast, the Fear Takeover, which is going to be once every 2 months. And if you're interested, reach out to one of us individually, or our Twitter page at Endless Celts Podcast, and just say, can you just come on? And we'll always say yes. Do you know what I mean? We're welcome to anybody coming on. The first guest we'll have coming on is Kaiser. He'll be on the 26th of this month, so that'll be our first ever Fear Takeover. Just a bit of crack, interact with us, as like you do in the comments, and this community we've built over the last year and a half, 2 years is absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure you would echo it as well. We appreciate the support and watching it grow and watching our subscribers go up. It's fantastic. We're really far on from what we thought we would be, and it's brilliant that people keep sticking with us and watching, and everything grows week on week. And again, the membership option, there's a couple of members in tonight. Kevin 14's in, Kaiser's in as well. So if you're interested in that, this helps the channel out. 99p a month, simple, effective. You get them with emojis beside your name. Again, not badgering anyone to do it. It's totally optional. If you want to, get on it. But we'll move on, guys, again. And Ross Giakoumakis gets on the action with another fantastic overhead bicycle kick. And I think in the process from relaxing, the Kilmarnock goalkeeper has so left his body because he just planted himself on the floor.
I mean, no wonder, you felt for the guy. It's one of the ones. Giakoumakis is not meant to put it through his legs. He hates an overhead kick. He must practice them a lot, because that's a couple of times he's tried it. He usually connects. He usually hits the target. It's just an unlucky one for the keeper. I think it's so close, and he's connected with it that well. It's through the keeper's legs before he knows where he is, and there's no what he can do with it. It's the 5th goal, and he's just like, what can you do? I'm just got to fall down here, because that's what you do. It's just a natural reaction, I think. But Giakoumakis, he just comes on and just does what he does, scores goals.
See, I think the funny thing about that goal was, I think, see if he caught it solid, it's just gone straight in the keeper's arms. It's one of them, but it's just like, comes in and he gets his selling A positions, and if you get the ball into him, 9 times out of 10 he's putting it away. It's like, what an option to have off the, like, it's actually,
he's prolific.
And see, when you're sitting, like, I love Kyogo, and like, he's been superb this season again, but you're kind of like, oh, what a shame he's not, like, Giakoumakis isn't starting. And I would be the exact same if it was the other way around. But it's a great option to have. It's just superb to have 2 strikers that are different, but both of their movements unbelievable. If you're getting the service for the likes of Jota and Maeda and Abada, like, these guys are going to score a ton of goals this season. An absolute ton of goals between them.
The way he took it was so flush as well, wasn't it? He just caught it sweet, bang, into the ground, through the keeper's legs. Fantastic goal. The crowd obviously goes mental. And Danny Boy comes in, references our Fuhrer takeover. Kaiser, he'll make a great guest for you guys. Monty next, then FTB, Red Scotland, Lanky, and of course Frank Brennan and Frank Kennedy on it at some time. Again, anyone's welcome. Just get in touch. Our social media pages and our own Endless Celts one as well if you're interested in that. And obviously, Ross, you look at it, I think you made a great point to have them options coming off the bench. And Giakoumakis finished really strong for us last season, kind of keeping Kyogo out of the team in the latter parts because he was only come back from injury. And I think his ratio of goals is he still outweighs in games he started and games he scored in, which is absolutely incredible, isn't
it? It's unbelievable. It's like the word I just used. He's prolific. He comes on. He doesn't look. He never looks like. Do you know what I mean? Like he's in the huff because he wasn't picked. He just comes on and his first thought is, "I'm fucking scoring," because that's what I do. And when he comes on, I think to myself, whether we were up 1-0 or 4-0, I believe that he's got to score. There's no many players down the years of me watching Celtic where I just see them coming on or I see them starting. You just go, he's got to score today. For me, he looks like he's going to score, certainly domestically, in every single game he plays, because he just puts his cell in the right area all the time, and if he gets that chance, bang, he takes it. There's no control, there's no fanning about it. It's bang, in the net. It's just what he does. I love him. I think he's a tremendous striker. He wears number 7. He's an out-and-out number 9. Outstanding.
It's instinctive, isn't it? It's like a poacher. Like Gary Hooper-esque. I mean, 2 different types of players, but in the box they were deadly and they always had that one-touch finish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. And obviously, as well, Jens getting on the action, William Starfelt gets his first goal in 50 appearances for the club. I mean, you can't help but be happy. Like,
oh, it was unbelievable. Jota's face, I'll never forget. There's a still of him with his hands in his head, like, can't believe it. And then even the gaffer's a lot of time he doesn't show emotion when we score. He'll maybe give a wee fist bump or that, but he's just standing there smiling. It must have been He must have taken some ribbon on the training pitch of the last season, because I think he's probably the only player that didn't score for us last season. Is that right?
Think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
So he must have been taking some ribbon on the training pitch. So for him to get that, I was absolutely delighted. Another well worked goal. Set pieces again, which there was a lot of whinging that we weren't as prolific in, and we weren't great at defending them last year either. But that's been a number of set piece goals. We scored a few corners, and it was just brilliant to see him score. I was absolutely over the moon for him. See, just to touch on Giacomakis as well. See, if you're a midfielder or a winger, what a feeling it must be to say, if I put that in that area, there's a good chance that boy's going to put it in the back of the net.
Right.
Unbelievable, man. Just put it in the right spot and he'll do it. In fact, put it in a decent area. It doesn't need to be the best ball in the world. He'll make something of it. Unbelievable player.
You just know that he's saying to Jota, Maeda, Abada,
Ralston.
This is where I'll be. I'll be inside the two lines of the 6-yard box. You hit that area, I'll be there.
I'll score. Right.
It's a great option to have, and you look at the fact that you've got Giacomakis, Kyogo, Maeda, Abada, Jada, Forrest coming in there as well, and players coming through too from the youth academy. It's just a great space to be in, and just to kind of finally round off the game, Ross. I mean, you alluded to the fact that the collective, the team, and that was shown like fully on, like when Starfelt scored it. And as you said, that William, the facial expressions were like of disbelief and shock and emotion, and Postecoglou even putting his hands out wide and just laughing at his coaching staff. And it must have been a running joke. I was not in a bad way, but the team spirit, it's been the best what I can see for a long, long time. And the connection between the fans and the players is just immense.
I've never followed. I was actually thinking about it today. I don't think I've ever followed a Celtic team. I've loved Celtic teams down the years. The Martin O'Neill team, the Brendan Rodgers team, to name two. You would have to say probably up until this point, they've been, in my lifetime, probably the two best sides. But none of them do I relate to like this team. The players and the team spirit in the teams were brilliant as well. But I'm loath to say there was cliques in the dressing rooms. You can't say that. Do you know what I mean? You weren't part of it. But it's like we've all said. I just think that you can see that every single player, they're all mates. I wouldn't say every single player in the Martin O'Neill dressing room, for the outside looking in, were all mates. But all these guys they're all quite similar ages. I don't know. It's just the way Ange signs. You just know that they're going to have the same interests. They're going to have the same sort of values and stuff like that. And Ange wants them to have similar values to what the club has got and what it's been built on. And I think it's just evident on the pitch, off the pitch, barring this possible wee maybe glitch the day that we've heard about. But who knows? But I'm sure time will tell what's happened there. But other than that, I've not related to a Celtic team the way I'm relating to this one. I've not related to a Celtic manager the way I'm relating to this one. He's unbelievable. I think if I met in person, I would turn into a daft wee. I would just stumble over my words. I was at blinking a last minute sort of hospitality at Tony Macaroni for Livy Hibs on Saturday, and after it, Davy Martindale came up the stair, and Marvin Bartley, and had a wee blether with him and that, and blethered away, no bother, just felt like normal guys. If that was Ange, I wouldn't really talk.
You'd be like front row at a Bon Jovi gig, eh? Like, I think you're spot on. See when you see the social media, all the guys are out for dinner every night with each other, and I just think Ross has said it there. Ange is a special person. I think that's probably one of his biggest qualities, is that I reckon in teams in the past and teams all over the world even now, if you're vying for a position with another teammate, there's a rivalry there, and I think that can maybe become sour in some quarters. Whereas I think with us in the team we've got now, it's a friendly rivalry. It's not like if he's in, I'm going to go in a huff like Ross is saying. Nobody's doing that. It's
No.
listen, you better perform well, mate, because I'm fucking coming for you, and I'm going to try and perform my best to get in that side. And it's but he wants you to perform well. See that stuff with Jota with Taylor. I keep harking back on about it, but he's like, you know what I mean? It's a camaraderie, and it's it's healthy. And I love the fact as well that he always talks about. I know there's rumours that people want to leave and all the rest of it. They're not getting first team football, and I think a lot of managers would be like, "Oh shit, right? I need to play this guy more or whatever." And where his goes, listen, I don't need to explain to you. You're at one of the biggest clubs in the world. If you don't want to be here, there's the door. I'll find somebody else that does. And it's just an amazing quality to get all these guys to believe in themselves, believe in each other, and we always talk about it, a collective, a unit, a team. It's no individuals. It's unbelievable the turnaround that he's managed in the past year and a bit, and self belief's an unbelievable thing. And if you get somebody that can, Martin O'Neill was great at it, make you feel 10 feet tall. You can make an average player a star player, and he's done that with every single player in this team. Ralston before he came in, we were all wanting at the door. Aye, bang on, Joe. Alexi Taylor. A lot of people don't think he's a great, talented player. He's made him come on. He's like he just makes people better, and he just makes people want to run through brick walls for him. It's an unbelievable quality to have, but to be humble at the same time. Just like what a man. What a man.
It's very rare as well. You see them man motivation coaches, but he has both. He can coach and motivate and take players aside and make them feel like they're the best players in the world, because very often we get a coach that would do the tactic side of things and the manager being the motivator, where he's the guy who does everything and he makes the players feel better. And as you said, want to run through brick walls for him. For example, there's no one on the pitch doing an Mbappe running off the pitch when no one's passing the ball to him. I don't know if you've seen that. That's an absolute...
It was unbelievable.
Didn't see that, no.
And by the way, see if that was Ange managing them, he'd have been right off the pitch and he probably wouldn't have played for a fortnight.
When did that happen?
Just last
the weekend there, he took a huff because
the boy sprinted. The boy taking it for the defence and was sprinting through midfield, and he made a run, and the players went the other way, and Mbappe threw his hands up and just kind of walked towards the touchline, didn't he? And it was a counter attack. That's meant to be one of your best talents in the world.
See, that's because they've gave him too much power in there now.
Exactly.
Embarrassing, man.
That kind of harks back to the fact where you don't see that at Celtic, and that individual kind of aspect of the game's gone. It's a team collective. It's people want to fight for each other. Joe Hart's come in. You could always expect him to be arrogant, self-confidence, and not about the team, just earning a pay packet. But it's totally not the case. He's always the first one to post about the away support, to post about his players, and people just getting involved. Juranovic and all O'Reilly out for dinners together, and it's like I just love seeing that that kind of spirit. This with Celtic Football Club is what we miss. I know I couldn't say a word, but I'm not going to. I know what I was going to say.
Camaraderie, kid.
Smooth, mate.
Yes, camaraderie. Yes. There we go. Because I was on a roll. I felt like it.
No.
I just
but you thought about it. Very passionate. I liked it.
I am passionate about this team. I think we all are. I think we all love the team. Do you know what I mean? And you only want to do well.
By the way, see every time we score a goal as well. Every member of the team is over there celebrating. Every single member of the team. Even the centre halves are sprinting up to celebrate. It's like, and I always mind that quote. I mind seeing Gary Neville. I think he was talking to Scholesy about it, and they were rewatching stuff. And every time they scored a goal, everybody celebrated. And Gary Neville said that. He says, "We always did." And Scholesy said, "Well, that's the gaffer. The gaffer always said, every time you score a goal, I want to see every one of you celebrating together because you're a team, and that's what it's all about." And that just shows in our team, everybody just loves each other, man. Big orgy. I love it.
Do you know what else? It's maybe just a small thing.
Shut up, Monty. Don't you dare try and come for me.
Please, Monty, take the heat off me. It's just a small thing, but even like the language they use in interviews, they talk exactly like the manager. We just wanted to come here and play our football and impose our style on the game. All that all the wee one-liners, the wee quips, they all talk the exact same way as the manager, and that just, like, to me, comes across like, I think it's evident anyway, but it comes across like every single one of them respect him and hang on every word he says.
That's great to see as well. There's no one. Remember when Mowbray was in charge, Mark Fiennes, his coaching staff, was undermining him and telling the players to do different things. Neil Lennon always had problems with players, and Rodgers towards the end, you kind of seen his true colours come out. Now we've got a person who wants to be there for the team, the right values, the right respect, the ethos of Celtic Football Club, and it's just great to see. Brian Hanlon will not let me live this down. I'm not even going to try and say it.
And the most ironic thing ever was Larson going to them to. See when he signed, I was like, "Oh, there's Larson signed for Shackle."
I knew where he was going. I just knew. It was in my mind.
You just didn't know how to say it.
Nah, 100%. But we'll move on from that. I think we've kind of covered the game really well. We'll go into, I mean, everyone's favourite aspect of this is the transfer rumours, Ross, and Postecoglou did confirm they're looking for possibly one or two more to play in various different positions. One rumour that seems to be gathering pace at the minute, and every time I'm clicking on certain sites, I see it popping up from other journalists and people down south, and however unlikely it's going to happen, but Ross Barkley, where do you stand on it? It just won't go away. Think it'd be a right fit, or do you just think it's a waste of money if it do go for him?
I think it all comes down to the financial side of it. If it's going to be affordable for us, then in terms of on the pitch, I think it'd be a good signing. You look at it and say, well, do we need another midfielder? Probably not. Possibly not. If McCarthy goes and we get him in and it's an affordable deal, then you could say maybe we do need that other midfielder. But at the end of the day, you look at it. For me, I know he's lost his way a wee bit. I just think that's conditions, the way it's happened at Chelsea. He came in and done well at Chelsea to begin with, but then I just don't think the way Chelsea play, he's suited to it. I think for me, you can't have too many good players, and Ross Barkley, however way you want to put it, is a good player. He's played for England at international level. He looked a top player when he came through at Everton. Everybody's saying he's the next Gerrard. For me, on the face of it, do we really need another midfielder? Maybe no. But if you're asking me if we can get Ross Barkley and it's going to be affordable for us, then you take him all day long. And I know there's that slight chance he could be an Aaron Ramsey, but there's also a slight chance he could be a top player and really do the business for us. So for me, I would take him.
I think as well, when you look at it, I mean, for me, I've always had an issue with us going for English players. I don't know what it is. It's not being ignorant or anything. Sometimes I just think when they lose their talent and they kind of go off the scale and they've got all this money and you're thinking they're coming for a payday, or I know it's not a massive payday itself. It could be a pay decrease, obviously, but you look at it, William Weiss and other clubs wanting them. Is there attitude problems, personality traits, and you kind of weigh it all up and you overthink and analyse. I do a lot of that, but you know me, I post a lot of shit in our group chat, to be honest. But Ross Barkley, I would say 70% of the people on the comments at the minute. I mean, Egyptian King with a great point here. Ross Barkley is a talented fella. He did go through the Everton youth and was a mainstay in that team. I think he's worth a punt. Others are saying it's definitely not happening. But it's the only rumour we can go off at the minute. We're kind of gathering pace and seeing it. Would you think it'd be a great signing? I mean, the pivot with him and O'Reilly. What do you think?
I definitely think it would be if it was going to happen. I'm not so sure it will, just because, again, Ross is bang on. It's just the finance side to things. I think he's on like $100,000 a week. If we could get him on, if it's a loan deal, then I'd definitely be all for it. I think he's a very talented player, like you say, burst on the scene. And it's not so. I think it was last season he was on loan at Villa and still did a decent job there. And he was playing weekly in the Premier League and doing decently. So if the opportunity was there and it was right, and the finances were right, then I definitely 100% would take him on. And I think he would fit the system well because he's obviously a fit lad. He's got an eye for goal, good engine on him. He could actually be another number 8 for us. In my eyes, because I think Turnbull and O'Reilly are that number 10 or that sort of player that gets forward. I think Barkley. I think Barkley's. It would be a top signing, but again, it's all about the finances.
And by the way,
a left-sided one here, boys. What was saying to that, Ross?
It was a rumour concerning Barkley. That's what we. No, I wouldn't be up for that. Because as I say, I think we've got quite a lot of midfielders, and at this stage of the game, I don't think in terms of the transfer window, I don't think we can afford to lose Juranovic because he's be very, very difficult to replace. I know Ralston can come in and do a job, but again, I worry about Ralston defensively, and for me, that's his main job. Whereas on the other side, I'll go back to Taylor. I would say probably Ralston's final ball is better than Taylor's, but Taylor defensively stands up to the job, and he's for me, in my opinion, the first thing you want him to do. So I wouldn't be happy about losing Juranovic at this stage, just purely because it'd be very difficult to replace him.
I think the bottom line for it is, I think he's a very talented player, but it's not like I'm not jumping out my seat when I heard we're getting linked with him. I'm not like doing cartwheels saying get him in the fucking door, but he's a very talented player. If we didn't sign him, I wouldn't be too disappointed. If we signed him, I'd think a decent signing. Mm-hmm. But I'm not falling at the feet of everybody that's hanging it. But I think there's a few comments, and I think they're bang on. If Ange thinks it's the right, then I'm right behind you, Ange, because everything you've done so far has been like gold dust. So if you're saying it's the right thing to do, then let's go for it.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because you'd sort of said there, Stephen, he might come up with an ego, he might come up for the wrong reasons or whatever, but you can bet your boots if Ange gets any inkling that he's coming up for the wrong reasons and is no going to be the right character for the team and he help the squad, he'll not be here.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to worry about that.
Alistair Jack made a great point. You can't have enough good players. I mean, Ross Barkley was a mainstay in that England national team for about 3 or 4 years. I think he earned about 35 caps, something along them lines. He scored a few goals, and he was vital for Everton and that type of run they had as well, especially under like Martinez and managers like that. So there is a player there, but again, the finances for me don't make sense. A bit like that whole Ramsey debate, and Joe, like 400 grand a week, and he's apparently on 150 grand a week. How can you take a pay cut? And he's 28 years old, so he's not really in the elders of his career like a Joe Hart, where he wants to get back and loving football again. So it's a bit maybe unrealistic, William, when you look at it from that side.
Definitely, mate. That's the stumbling block. I think that's maybe why I'm not getting so hyped up about it. I just feel maybe in my gut it's just not going to happen because of the wages he's on. There's no way we would pay him anywhere near that. He's like if he came in, he wouldn't be one of our. For me, anyway, he wouldn't walk in the team and he wouldn't be one of our best players. So you're not going to pay him more than the guys like Calmack and Jotas and all the guys that are flying. So maybe that's why I'm not getting as excited. Saying that, if he did come in, I reckon he definitely would flourish. The type of football we play, where we've got all the possession and a high tempo press, and like I say, he's got an eye for goal. I think he really would flourish in the team. But I just don't. Just because of the finances, like you say, I just can't see it happening. But stranger things have happened, mate.
Yeah, 100%. And I think in terms of rumours, that's kind of wrapped up in terms of what we know. But there is another kind of managerial rumour, Ross, and that's John Kennedy has been linked with a vacancy at Midtjylland in Denmark. Obviously, we played him in the Champions League last year, and Postecoglou did say he won't stand in his way. Do you think that'll be maybe it's time to move on, or just for his next step? Obviously, there was that for me especially. Why is he still there when Postecoglou comes in? But during that successful period, no one mentions him, or Strachan is kind of forgot about, but now he's come back to the forefront. Where would you stand? I think he would need a replacement, or maybe Harry Kewell is that replacement.
Like you've said, Harry Kewell could be that replacement. Maybe, obviously, they're getting that in place before Kennedy does go, whether it be Midtjylland, whether it be somewhere else. He's maybe had that conversation with Ange and said, I want to be my own man at some point, and if an offer comes in, I'm going to seriously consider it. And Ange just went, well, of course I'm not going to stand in your way, but I'm going to obviously make moves to protect myself and the team Celtic, because that's obviously at the forefront of his worries, if you like. But in terms of Kennedy going to Midtjylland, I think it'd be a good move for him. I think obviously they'll be playing. I think they maybe went out of the Champions League qualifiers there, didn't they?
I think they did.
I think they did. I think they did. But they're going to have some sort of European football. The Danish league, sort of parish with our league. They'll be obviously challenging at the top half or the top end of the table. I think for me, if he is going to take a job, he has to take a job away from Scotland, build up a reputation, see what he can do, and if he does well, he maybe come back to Scotland. Maybe, I'm not saying definitely get the Celtic job. It all depends on how well he does. But aye, Michelin's as good a destination as any for John Kennedy to take his first job, and he would go with my best wishes if and when, or if he did take that job.
I agree. I mean, he's always going to be associated with that disaster season of the 10, William. And you look back and maybe it was time to cut ties. We all had a wee moan about it, let's be honest, in the podcast and stuff. And why is he still there? Gavin Strachan and his famous laptop, all them jokes flying about. Frank Brennan comes in. Where on earth do these rumours start? Well, Frank, I mean, the Twitter sphere, as we call it, it all starts there and then it kind of gathers pace and national newspapers get involved and stuff. But Postecoglou was questioned on it, William, and he won't stand in his way. So maybe it could be Dundee United going by the whole the Jack Ross type situation going on there. They got smashed by Alkmaar and then smashed by the team that played the weekend. Where do you see it going?
To be honest, when I seen the rumour, I just thought it was nonsense as well. But I didn't realise that Ange was asked about it, and he said that if that's the case, then maybe it isn't. Maybe it might come to fruition. But again, I just think I think people focus far too much on the negatives. I hope if he did go, he wouldn't get remembered for that. I totally agree, and I'd said at the time, and even now with the way it's the team's flourishing and under the Ange. And by the way, I think he was probably quite pivotal to that with Ange coming in. We're having that relationship with the players already. He was that. We always talked about when Scott Brown left. We should never have got rid of him because he was massive around the club for that, telling the guys what it means to play for Celtic, and that he's that kind of that relationship between the manager and the team. I think John Kennedy was pivotal to that when Ange came in. So aye, pretty much the same as Ross. If he did go, he would definitely go with my best wishes. He's some of the best years for me as a Celtic fan have been under Rodgers and Ange, and he's been a big part of that. I always thought he would go to another Scottish club if that was the case. But after his small tenure in charge of us, if I was in charge of a football club, I don't think I'd be putting him in charge of my team. And I know that might be harsh to say, but he had a massive opportunity with us, and he didn't do great to say the least. So I think Ross is right. I think if he is going to do something, he's maybe better moving on. But if it was me at this club that's given me everything, and he's given a lot back in return, it's a cushy wee number he's in the now. And this team's flying, and he can learn a lot under Ange. I wouldn't be looking to jump ship. I'd be looking to stay and ply my trade. And it's a couple of no bad managers to play a trade under, Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou. So good luck to him if he does. But if not, I'm not going to be disappointed. I think he's done a lot for this team, and I think he's definitely done a lot under Ange as well.
He looks like, to me anyway, like a director of football type, like a chief scout or something. That's where I would see John Kennedy probably flourish in terms of football operations, the analytic side of things, the data and all that type of stuff. But again, if he goes to Midtjylland or any other club, maybe Dundee United, as I said, best wishes to him. So I mean, we all wish him well, but no grudges against him. Obviously, the wee blip wasn't entirely his fault. There was other factors in that. So again, if he goes, fair play. But we'll move on, guys, to the end of the show, and it's a wee quiz here. William rightly brought it back on Friday. It's something we missed in the podcast. I was probably just too lazy to get one kind of out and wrote out. But we'll do it as we always do. 5 questions, first to 3. And I think you say your name. I like that wee touch you did, William. Say your name if you want to answer.
Mind and don't shout the answer, Ross.
My name's Cal McGregor.
Are you ready?
Aye.
Question number 1. Who currently occupies Celtic's number 6 jersey?
Jens. Mercedes Jens. Oh, Wally.
Ross.
Ross, go for it.
I said Wally before he said Ross.
No. You already jumped in. Ross, go for it.
Jens.
That's 1-0. Thanks for that, Will. You give him grief for shouting it out and you do the exact same thing.
But Franny said it before he said his name. That was the whole point, you dick.
Question 2, you fan. What club did Celtic sign Jens from?
Ross.
Go for it, Ross.
Was it Lorient?
There you go. 2-0.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Question 3. Who currently occupies Celtic's number 13 jersey?
Ross.
Oh,
go for it.
I think I know. Wally.
McCarthy.
Wrong. William, hand it over to you.
Do I need to say my name first?
No, you can say it now.
Is it Aaron Moy?
Perfect. 2-1.
That was my next guess, too.
Thank
Was
fuck, the
between the
granny's
two of
off.
them.
Granny's off.
Celtics player James McCarthy also played for another Scottish club. Who was it?
Ross.
Go Ross.
Hamilton. That was
Hamilton,
miles, mate.
3-1. 3-1. So you win the
Miles,
second. You win the second quiz of the season. There,
Well done,
guys.
mate. Well done.
Another great podcast. Another couple of cracking topics to speak about. Have you enjoyed this one?
Brilliant.
Really
It's
enjoyed it.
unbelievable. Now that we're flying, and it's just buzzing to get on. Even like I was always buzzing to get on, even when we were dire. But now that we're here and we're absolutely flying, it's just electric to come and sit with your pals and have a beer and just talk about all the good things that are here now and that are coming in the future. I can't wait to see what the rest of the season entails. I'm buzzing.
Egyptian King with a very intriguing question. Who drinks out of the bog? But again, I want to thank everyone in the comments for getting involved. It's been class to see us all comment and talk to each other as well, which is what it's all about. A big community that we've all created with each other. We all kind of know each other now on names and stuff. It's great to see. Joe Finley, Monty, Danny Boy, Egyptian King, Kevin 14, Ryan Taylor. Everyone's welcome along and get involved with that membership option, 99p. You get the wee emojis John's created if you want to get on that, do. And the Super 6, get involved because, let's be honest, boys, the points at the moment are quite diabolical, so it's going to be easy to catch us. So get involved with that. Download the app. The league code is going through the ticker and also there in a graphic. What is it? CF5VDD?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also hit the like and subscribe button.
Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk. And until Friday, when we look ahead to the weekend's game, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.